Humble me now. Because there's a lot of things that's gonna humble you. And you know someone who hasn't been humbled. Somebody that's so conceited, somebody that's so narcissistic. Kanye West. And this album, Vultures 2, with Ty Dolla Sign. And I don't know if y'all realize this. And I don't even know if I realized this. I don't know even if I thought about this before I just came on this podcast. But Ty Dolla Sign, I feel like his celebrity has been lifted up even more. I believe he couldn't say no to Ye, you know, when doing these projects because of the aftermath, because of the results of it. Because now I really look at Ty Dolla Sign in a different light. I look like it looks like he has the light shining up on him. It looks like he's glittering like gold. It looks like he's entered a gold mine and he's mining for that gold and he's getting those carats and he's getting that value, getting that recognition, getting that notoriety that he finally deserves. Not just being a hook master, but just being a voice for the people, being a voice that we're all accustomed to, a voice that's relevant, a voice that's familiar, a voice that's melodic. Right? And I believe Ty Dolla Sign, he was the star of the show of Vultures 1. And I think Ye heard that. I think Ye heard that he wasn't rapping as good as he could. I think Kanye understood the task at hand, and I believe he wanted to get on Vultures 2 and showcase his skill, showcase his prowess, not just as a production guy, not just as a producer, but as an MC, as a lyricist. And I don't know if he wrote these songs by himself, but he sounded damn good. Right, the production, mwah, chef's kiss. Right, the samples chopped perfectly, just sounded perfectly. The texture, like even that 530 song, it didn't sound like it was perfectly mastered, but it sounded raspy. It sounded like classic. It just gave us that texture, that airy sound, like when you hear somebody record and everything around them is not soundproof, but it is just authentic. It's just raw. And I think Ye, he was able to capture that raw feeling. He was able to capture that raw texture. Although he's still crying out to Kim K, because I know husband is not about Bianca. I know husband is still him crying out for Kim K. Please come home. I want to be the husband to you. So I know that he's getting more introspective on some of these songs, right? And he's really giving us himself. He's really giving us his passion. He's really diving in and rapping. So although Ty Dolla Sign was on Vultures 1 and very he was on there like very familiar, right? We could hear him more on Vultures 1, but Vultures 2, I feel like Kanye took the cake. I feel like Kanye stole the show for Vultures 2. And like I was saying in my notes, I wished he would have released Vultures 1 and Vultures 2 like Metro Boomin and Future release We Don't Trust You and We Still Don't Trust You in 3 weeks from each other, so you could really compare them in real time. But he likes to drop, likes to leak, he likes to backtrack, because Vultures 2 was ready, but he didn't release it. So, I wish we would have been able to compare these in real time. I wish I had time to go back to Vultures 1 and compare it. I'm sure I'm going to be able to compare them in the next episode after this, but I wish it was there for me to compare them. But the features, right? It was a great listening, but because I wasn't sure who was gonna be on these songs, and I heard Playboy Cardi, I heard Lil Yachty, I heard Lil Wayne, I heard Dirk, I heard Future, I heard Lil Baby, I heard Saha the Prince, Sky City, right? Lifestyle. I heard Dead. Like, that was just, those were the highlights of this album. I heard some songs that really made me put the stank face on. I really heard some songs that made me look within. I heard some songs that really resonated with me. A husband. I want to be a husband to my wife. How could I not love that song? How could I not love that ballad to your loved one, to your significant other, showing how passionate you are about being their lover, about being their provider, about being their protector, about being their husband, right? And I feel like Kanye pulled on the heartstrings, but he also kept it up tempo. He also kept it like feel good. He also kept the vibe vibrant. He also kept the frequency up high. And I know that Kanye, he's been saying some wild, outlandish things in the past. But for most people that listen to Kanye music, they kind of separate him as the person and him as the musician and artist, because at the end of the day it just seemed like he trolls for attention. He just runs his mouth to run it just to so he can hear himself talk, and nobody cares about what he's saying. Everything he said, nobody's really listening to it anymore, but we just want to hear you talk through the music. We just want to hear you make good music. And Kanye, he makes music better than anyone we could name, and he's been doing it for a long time, and he's been consistent for a long time. Although we don't like some albums better than the others, one thing that we cannot say is that he's not been consistent with giving us a solid sound, right? Everything that he's done has been solid. Nothing that he's done has been under qualified. Nothing that he's done has been low quality. Right? It might not have performed well, it might not have resonated as much, but everything that Kanye's been doing recently and in the past has been solid, and he's been consistent as a musician, as an artist, as a rapper, as a person in the culture, as a brand. Yeezy taking shots at Drake once again, right? But of course he did, right? That's low hanging fruit. Taking shots at Adidas, of course he did. That's low hanging fruit. But I believe this was a Kanye that I could really appreciate because he put on a show. He performed well when he was rapping, right? And he performed well when he was producing, right? So everything is on brand production wise. Everything is on brand with the samples. Everything is on brand with the lyricism. Everything is on brand in gathering these like-minded individuals, gathering these creatives and putting together a project that will resonate with the ears of the listeners. So Kanye, I gotta give